and Cliff REDELK
Yes.
in the house. Been
Finally.
working on this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what's been going on? We can start. Now you are, what tribe are you?
Comanche.
Comanche, of course. I knew that because it's on some of your songs.
Yeah, Comanche Warrior. You even said Comanche Warrior. Where you at? When I was kind of lollygagging about getting over, and it wasn't really lollygagging, but yeah, that's what you said, Comanche Warrior.
So were you born here in Oklahoma City?
Actually, I was born in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas.
And you'd have to ask my mom and my dad for a clear understanding of that, because not many people travel to Fort Worth when they're about to give birth. But I think there was a little bit of something was going on family-wise.
Yeah.
So my mom went down to stay with some family that was down there and gave birth to me. So I'm born in Tarrant County. Matter of fact, I just looked at it the other day to go get a real ID. It says Tarrant County, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Fort Worth. DFW, basically.
So do you remember what was your earliest memories, and where was that located? Was that Oklahoma or Texas?
Yeah, I mean, she was briefly there in Texas, and I always joke, because of the Oklahoma-Texas thing, I always joke and say, when they say, where were you born? I say, I was born in Texas, and they say, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, I didn't like it very much. I came back like a week later. I don't even know how long she was there, but it wasn't very long. So I'm Oklahoma.
Moved here to city. What's your earliest memory? Like kindergarten, something like that, or maybe a little before?
Yeah.
Preschool?
Yeah, I can remember kindergarten and stuff like that, probably. Yeah, probably around there.
Where'd you grow up at? What part of Oklahoma? Oklahoma City?
Well,
from where I remember, you was like, whatever, 25 or 30 years ago, late 80s, early 90s, when I hung around Dustin, was like 11th Street.
Yeah, 10th Street over where Cox Cable used to be, on 10th and that was Villa. Yeah.
10th and Villa.
That's where I was north side, but I jokingly tell people that I probably went to 30 elementary schools, but I went to a lot. My stepdad was a painter. You know him.
Uh-huh.
My stepfather, Kenneth Pfeffer, he was a painter. So we did a lot of moving around. He would work for this person who had a bunch of rental houses, or somebody who, a couple of times they were roofing guys that had roofing companies we worked for. So we just ended up living in different places here and there. Mostly started out on the south side. A lot of people don't really know that much. Yeah, because my sister went to Grant. Lindy went to Moon. This is my sister and my brother I'm speaking of. I went to Parmalee, Southern Hills Elementary, I believe it was called. Prairie Queen. Lindy used to joke and say I went to Dairy Queen Elementary. Said I really liked that, because I was a chunky kid. So yeah, I went to a lot of elementary schools on the south side, and then we moved over to the north side on 10th Street, the house you remember, which was pretty infamous. Everybody remembers the trampolines in the backyard. We had 3 at one time. I was in 5th grade. Okay.
I remember, I think the Mike Tyson fight you guys got once.
Yeah.
And everybody went over there for that, and I didn't know who y'all were or what was going on, but I was there.
Yeah, we used to get the Tyson fights. My stepdad liked to watch them, and I remember... Weird, we could probably touch on that later when we get more into things, but maybe it might come up. But my dad and my stepdad were best friends at one time.
Oh, wow.
So they were still kind of cool. So when my dad would come into town, they would like pitch in and get because it was like even $50 even back then for fights.
That was late 80s.
So that wasn't very cheap. And I remember getting the Mike Tyson fight, and he knocked whoever it was out. I think it might have been Spinks, maybe Michael Spinks. And after that, so many people called and complained to Cox Cable. They started making it where it was $10 a round up to the 5th round. So if you knock somebody out in the first round, you only got charged like $10 on your bill.
Oh, because he was always the first round.
Yeah, because people were saying
45 seconds.
$50, 30 seconds later, everybody was calling, complaining. So I remember even my stepdad was probably one of them because he was cheap.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yep. So what was it like, Cliff REDELK as a 3rd grader? What were you doing? Well,
5th grade when we moved north. But
okay. Well, 3rd grade.
5th grade center.
Do you remember third grade?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember third grade.
Is it just normal kid, just go to school,
Yeah.
don't start no trouble, just hang
I
out
was-
with people, hang out with your friends?
I was a pretty good kid, you know. I had older siblings. Well, my sister, I don't know about her being a bad kid. Probably not much, but my brother was the knucklehead. So me, I was mama's baby boy, and I was pretty good until I wasn't for a while.
You were good until you weren't.
Till I wasn't for a while. Yeah.
So you moved north fifth grade. Did you go to Taft by chance?
No. I first started out, I went to class in, old class in fifth year center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the famous Molly Ringwald movie
Uh-huh.
location. Yeah, I went there. Lindy started out at Northwest. And so I went to class in fifth year center. And then after that, I went to Harding
Okay, you went to Harding too.
before it was a charter school, which it is now.
What year was that? How old are you now?
I am 44.
You're 44. Okay, yeah, you're way back. Okay, because I'm 51. I was at Harding like in 80, 81, 82
And I am the worst when it comes to
years.
years and time. Like people say, how long ago was that? And yeah, I'm the worst.
So how was Harding? Do you remember the vice principal or the principal? Was it Hodges then?
No. We had Mrs. Outlaw was one of the principals there, and I remember her a lot because she was also the principal at not Moon, Webster, I believe, because she knew me because of my brother, because she was his principal before. So I remember one time I got in trouble. She said, told my mom, she said, he's really smart, really good kid. She said, but he likes to straddle that fence. She said, there's the bad kids over here, good kids over here, and he just likes to straddle that fence. She said, you better watch him, which was probably pretty smart. Cause
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. I like to have a little fun, a little danger, but I also like to get good grades and do what I'm supposed to do most of the time. So I was pretty good. Yeah. It was I liked Harding. One thing when I think of Harding and kind of growing up in middle to lower class kind of areas, I just like the culture that I was exposed to, because that's when I kind of caught the hip hop bug was
Middle school?
Was probably Harding. Yeah.
That was the late 80s. That's when
I remember.
That's when I started listening to it more.
These guys. Well, I listened to it way before. I caught. Now thinking about that, that goes all the way back to Southside when I was at, probably at Hayes Elementary School. I went to Hayes, which is over there by Shields, right behind. Like, there's a Home Depot over there on Shields in that area. Right up.
What were some of your favorite bands you listened to back in the day?
Well, I can remember when the stamp, the parental advisory, got put on the CDs, or I should say cassettes.
Explicit lyrics.
Because a lot of people used to play a game called Mr. Mister. That's what they called it when I went to Maryland for a summer. This girl was like, we play Mr. Mister. I was like, what's Mr. Mister? And she was like, it's when you sit outside the store and like, Mr. Mister, will you go buy me a 40? Give them money. But we did it for CDs. I mean, for cassettes, I should say, because we couldn't buy them. So we'd be like, hey, if I give you this money, will you go in there and give me that Too Short? And
Born to Mac.
Yeah, and actually, Born to Mac is funny because my mom gave it to me for Christmas.
Nice.
I don't know if she knew, and that was on 10th Street. I don't know if she knew what it was all
the
about.
White Cadillac on the front. Born to Mac.
Well, I don't know if the Cadillac was white, but the cassette was white. Was it?
It was a white Cadillac with red guts as convertible.
Yeah, and
I got the CD. That's why I know.
But way before that, I used to take my brother's cassettes and listen to them and dub them and whatever, because I remember being a young kid and hearing, hey, we want some.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I like that.
Ghetto Boys,
just as a kid.
Luther.
That was the Two Live Crew. And I think of the way I don't want my kids to listen to vulgar this and that. But at a young age, I just loved it. And I didn't really think about all that. It was just the music, and it was new. It was exciting. So, yeah, I listened to it way before I started actually participating. Loved it.
So you were at Harding Middle School, and then where did you go after Harding? You went to Northwest, right?
Northwest, yes.
Okay. North side for life over there.
And you say,
Who'd you run around with over there?
I remember you say Taft earlier.
Okay.
A lot of people from Taft went to Northwest, obviously. Friends of ours that, Jeremiah, Bostic, just that whole like kind of crew that
Midget posse.
Nah, they were kind of already up. And see me,
You were young, man.
I'm old, but I'm young because
You were younger.
I run around with everybody. My brother's 6 years older than me, and all you guys that ran around with him were closer to his age. And so, yeah, for a while, I was like young. I remember people when y'all guys started getting to 30, and I was still in my 20s, and and then it got to a point where we're all old. So I'm not young anymore, but yeah. I ran around with a younger, midget posse, and those guys were closer to you guys' age, and then the next crew was like Jay Doty, Jeremiah Bostic, Tony Martinez, all them kind of guys. So I ran around with them a little bit. And the dumb Taco Bell era.
God, did you hang out there with I can't believe I can't remember his name. Tall black dude. What was his name? Temus.
Yes, everybody. Yeah,
we used to go up there and just look for a fight, and we just hang out there and drive around and do dumb stuff.
And we were even lower than that because we hung out there for you guys to come roll through for a little while. We didn't have cars, we were younger. We would just sit there, and people would sit outside. They had it was the old style.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it? Adobe. Is that what they call those houses? Those Mexican houses. I think they're called Adobe houses, whatever, like stucco looking buildings or whatever, clay looking, whatever it was, that old style, not stucco, but the old style Mexican Pueblo or whatever you want to call it building the Taco Bell used to have. So we'd sit out there on the patio.
It was right on the corner of
right
23rd and May.
And across the street was the Circle K, which turned into a Stax for a minute, and then something else. Now it's
CVS.
Now it's is it Walgreens?
Walgreens, yeah, that's right.
Same thing.
Right.
But I'm surprised there's not a CVS across the street. There usually is.
They couldn't get the property because of the school.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm surprised they didn't buy all those knockoff little, not knockoff, but kind of
what was that?
The radio store that fixes radios. And
he was there forever.
For a while, Julio's family had Malo Brothers. Little, they do cell phone service and video games.
Yep. So you hung out Taco Bell. Man, you were there. I probably ran across you.
That's why I say we were so knuckleheads. We just waited there for y'all to pull up in y'all's cars and hang out with us for a little while. And sometimes, if my brother or somebody came through, we might get to jump in and go somewhere. But we just mainly hung out there. Remember one time we came up with knuckleheads too, came up with a stupid game. We were somebody would be the bait. So I remember Lee Martinez, one of the little guys, or somebody, Tony, or somebody, one of the little guys who were fast would be the bait. And we would all be the guys that were hunting him. And so they would run into Circle K, run down the aisle, and act like they're being chased. And we'd run in there, and we'd act like we were attacking them. And boom, 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 knock them down. And then we'd knock some stuff over, and we'd run out and just be laughing and laughing and laughing. Surprised none of us went to juvenile, went to juvie for that. But we did that a few times. I remember even doing it in the Taft, right in front of Taft at the little fields they had, whatever you want to have, the little grass right in front of because the cars would be passing by. And people would be stopping, get off him. But really, we're just holding our friend down, acting like we're beating him up or whatever. Just anything to get some attention and just to kind of break up the monotony. Like I said, while we're waiting on people to come to hang out with us at Taco Bell, which sounds really boring.
We were bored. Oklahoma City was nothing like it is now. It was nothing going on. We were just looking for trouble or something to get into because we were just.
That was before we had anything to do.
That's why me and my little group of guys were out taking everything that wasn't bolted down and everything that was bolted down.
Yeah.
So we were just bored.
Yeah, and that just makes me think when you said nothing to do, and we're thinking about May, 23rd May. We did have May Twin Theater for a while there,
Mm-hmm.
which was something to do at least, which was
That was down there 19th or something?
more
18th
like,
or 19th?
no, it was closer to I think 14th.
14th?
Because it was before you.
I remember pizza parties back
Yeah.
in the day, way back in the day.
It's about, I'd say 14th because, what is it, the high-low that's there now? Or low-high, the Lost Highway.
Lost
call it the
Highway.
Low-high. It's closer to 16th, and then you used to have that little gas station, right there, and then it was that old building. Turned into an antique store for a while, but I remember because it was just $1, and I guess just to get us out of the house, Mom would throw us a couple of dollars, say go to the dollar movies, and we'd pay for one movie and stay until they ran us out.
Mm. And you were still, at this time you're in high school still, or is this after?
That was even before, that was the whole time I lived when it was open over there. I'm pretty sure it was open pretty much most of the time we lived there, I think on 10th Street, if I remember correctly.
What year did you graduate now?
I got my GED.
Or were you supposed to graduate in what? Probably 90. I was 87.
That's what I was thinking, 90,
94.
something like that. Yeah, 90, 91. I'm not sure exactly, but I got my GED, and when I was on vacation with the state of Oklahoma Department.
I don't remember that at all.
Department of Corrections. Yes. I got in trouble when I was younger, and I not only got my GED, I also got 90 good days for it.
Nice.
Yeah, which was good.
So when you were in high school, did you get hit up to play football or anything? Or you weren't even in that realm?
Yeah, I did a couple of times throughout my scholastic career. A few people were like, yo, well, what's weird about me is I liked basketball. So I was like a basketball player trapped in a football player's body. I remember at Harding trying out for the basketball team.
Was it still Mr. B?
Yes, Mr. B. What's that mean? Like Mr.
Benedello.
Bernadello.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And he liked me, and I remember one time we're selecting teams, choosing teams, and that's what happened a lot of times. If he didn't have some drill or some kind of obstacle course, or if he wasn't teaching us something, I'd say 60, 70% of the time it was basketball. So he'd go out there and just throw the balls out. And it might have been less, but it seems like it was that much. I don't want to seem like Mr. B didn't teach us or anything, but a lot of the times it was, throw out the balls, everybody play ball. And I remember everybody selecting this and that. And, I'd get picked, but, maybe a little bit further down. And it probably got better as I played more and more. People got to know me. But I remember him saying, what's wrong with you guys? All you guys pick this, and this, and y'all leave REDELK last. And REDELK gets out there and whips y'all all the time. Y'all need to realize, he's pretty damn good, So that's why I just started liking basketball. So I started thinking, well, I'm going to try out. And I think it was just since me being a bigger guy.
Now, were you tall at all? Because you're tall now. You're like 6 foot, right?
Yeah, 6'2". So, yeah, I was tall. But I think it was just the full court thing. If it was half court, I probably would have did a little bit better, but just that running, it was a lot of running. And just didn't make the cut. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play, but I never really liked football that much. It was fun to play when we're just having fun and everybody getting cuts behind Northwest class. And I remember, what was his name? Tommy Mathis, I think, got sent to the hospital one time when we all played behind Northwest.
Football? Oh, yeah. He ran into Jacob Cobb.
Yeah, you were there,
broke Jacob's jaw.
You were there, huh? Those games were brutal.
We played tackle football and no pads or nothing.
No, and it was just in head hunting.
You were there?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was fun.
I remember it pop. It was a loud pop, and I was like, dang. And then Jacob kept playing, and then he was like, I took him home because I lived with Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took him home, and then he ended up going to the doctor and had it wired shut, and he was
I think Tommy didn't he get cut across his
black eye
or
or
something like that?
Yeah.
Something. I just remember the eye. And then,
it wasn't near as bad as Jacob, though.
that was a collision.
Did you play with us when we played at Taft as well?
No,
I got knocked out there once.
I can see it.
It was the same group of people, and I pulled down. I think it was Fart Hole or something. I was chasing him, and I pulled him down on top of me because I caught him.
Yeah.
And we were out of bounds, and there was like a sewer main there. That's what whatever it was. And I came back and bonked my head. And I remember getting up and looking around, and I was like, I didn't know where I was. I had my bell ring. And I looked, I recognized Bruce. And I said, Bruce, where are we at? I said, is that May Avenue? And he was like, hey, everybody, I got to take her home. And I lived at the Tiffany house with Jacob and Dan. And Dan Giles, rest in peace. And I didn't know my code to get in. And so we had to call and get in. He like got me up to my apartment. And I didn't know where anything was, man, until the next day. That was wild.
And you said Dan. I don't think
Dan
I recognize
Giles?
that name. No.
Dan, the dope man. You don't remember Dan Giles? Worked at Sonic forever and ever and ever.
No.
Indian dude.
No.
Anyway, he died. Got COVID late last year.
He just died recently. Because when you said that, it made me think like it's kind of kind of cool that you're doing this too with a lot of the people that we grew up with, and some people that get mentioned that normally we won't speak of, because like just when you said that, it made me think of when I went to Emerson. And here I am drawing a blank.
Sterling?
No.
He's
Sterling.
gone. He's gone.
Yeah, that's been a while back though, wasn't it?
A couple of years, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, so
Julie told me.
Well, I went to Emerson, and here I am drawing a blank on the name. The guy we went to school with, I remember it was me and him and Lee and Chuck Pritchard.
Chuck Pritchard.
We used to go hang out a lot with,
I went to school with Richard Pritchard, Chuck's older brother.
Dang, I'm drawing a blank on the name, and here I was thinking people would get mentioned. But he died in a car wreck.
Toby Strunk.
No, I know Toby real well. I like Toby. That was sad too, because I went to that. That was a.
You were there too.
That was like a double. Was it a triple? Because I know 3 people died, and they were all. It was him, and that girl Angela. I knew her too.
All I knew was Toby.
Yeah, and her husband, I think, was in the car.
I thought it was just Toby, maybe and one other that died.
Yeah,
but Toby was driving, right?
Yeah, but I think the girl Angela that died too was she married to Toby's brother?
I don't know. I didn't know any of them.
Yeah, but it was something when I went to that. Yeah, that was unfortunate. But I'll try to think of that name. I was trying to think of, because this guy we went to Northwest with, he had a nice car, and
what happened to
they
him?
got into a wreck, and I think Chuck was with him. Because I remember me and Lee used to ride to Emerson with him. He was a little bit older than us, but he was cool. He'd like take us to lunch. That's when a lot of people used to go hang out at Village Inn up on 39th. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Didn't Jeremiah or somebody work there?
I don't know.
A bunch of people worked there, but
A bunch of people worked at Applewoods.
Yeah, remember that?
Everybody had black slacks and a white.
That was like Coit's. They either worked at Coit's or Applewoods.
And ironically, I had Coit's for lunch today.
Oh, the truck?
Yeah, I went to the Yukon
Food
Festival of
Festival.
the Child.
Okay.
Had a bunch of activities for the kids. I know we're bouncing all around from 20, 30 years ago to this morning.
Let's go back to where were we at when we got off on that. Anyway, you were in high school. You graduated out. You got your GED. What did you do after that?
Okay.
And that's when you went away for a while. And I think I met you about that point. The first time I met you was at. We were just running around doing a bunch of nothing, and my little crew went up to Northwest Classen parking lot in the middle of the night, and you were there, and Lindy and some other people, and that's the first I just remember, because they were calling you CE or C or something.
Yeah, they used to call me CE,
CE,
which is Clifford Elgin.
Oh, okay. So that's the first time I remember meeting you, and then that was really it for then.
I guess, yeah, but Clifford Elgin was because you don't want to call a baby Clifford, I guess. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Clifford. And I have a, my son is Clifford Elgin, right up the third. And she was even like, I don't know what we're going to call him. Well, it'll just have to organically happen. And that's why we call him Elgin. She started calling him Elgin, you know, my wife. And yeah, I was called CE. And jokingly, Roy Stillwell, you know, Big Roy, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
At the gender reveal, he goes, CE3. You need to call him CE3. And
Where's he at, man? I haven't seen him in a minute.
Selling cars.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he still has a car lot on 10th Street. I mean, it's kind of, COVID's affected him a lot. It's right there next to where PB's used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't want to admit that we know that place, but yeah, right there on 10th Street. And he said COVID's kind of affected it. I think it's more or less like not a lot of cars out front anymore to sell. I think it's more or less like a buy here, pay here type of thing. Okay. So he's just there, kind of open to get the payments from all the cars he has out on. But he's doing good. His father passed not too long ago, and I think it's kind of, his dad was a big figure in his life. So I think it's kind of made him start looking at some things and realizing he's got some big shoes to fill. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes in Roy's life soon.
I remember seeing him at Taco Bell a lot.
Yeah.
God, he was so funny and loud.
Everybody remembers him from pushing that lawnmower around the neighborhood. And did you ever live over in that area? Everybody that lives over there is like, oh yeah, you're talking about Big Roy with the weed eaters and he had a lawn business. I guess he's been a hustler even since he was a kid, you know, trying to make money.
So I met Ernie in about 95, 96. I started hanging out with Ernie a little bit. I lived on 31st Street in that house.
Yeah.
The infamous house. And then that's when I met you, I think, and because he was doing just whatever, the Color Me Bad thing hadn't ended yet.
Yeah.
And so he was doing that, and then we went over, I think, to your mom. You lived with your mom, I think, on 32nd, and we used to go there all the time and just hang out for a little bit.
It was 31st, actually.
31st, okay.
Yeah.
I grew up, I grew up on 31st on Chartel. I lived there from 79 to 88.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I remember going over there. I don't remember really what you were doing in the middle 90s. What was that? You were just kind of hanging out, just working, writing. What were you doing?
90s?
94, 95, 96.
Yeah. Well, thinking about, I know we knew each other before, but when I think of you and what I was doing then, it can easily brings me to thinking of French Market Mall.
That was 98, 99.
Yeah, was it?
99, 2000.
Okay, so if it was before that, well, when I was 18 is when I got in trouble, or about, you know, right when I turned 18 pretty much, I got in trouble. Did something stupid.
What'd you do, take some Cheerios from Walmart or something?
Yeah, we just kind of went to Split Tea, 50-cent draws. You remember when Split Teas have 50-cent draws?
Uh-huh.
Little clear Dixie cups, and they'd give you 2 of them for $1, and we just order a bunch of those. And me and my cousin, OJ, it's kind of funny you get in trouble with somebody named OJ, but my uncle calls us matches and dynamite because when we got together back then, trouble happened. But just did something stupid. This guy was dating my sister-in-law, I guess, or hanging out, whatever, and another friend of ours kind of told me he was saying this and saying that, kind of hyping me up, and we ended up getting into it with him and his friend and this and that, and took his wallet, and just, yeah, it was stupid. I was drunk out of my mind, didn't even know what I was doing. I went to jail and had a $40,000 bond, you know, and I'm used to people going to jail, and it's like, oh, it's going to cost $500 to get me out, and I'm on the phone, and I remember looking through the glass when they let you make a phone call, and I'm like, how much? And they're like, $40,000, and I was like, it's $40,000, Mom, and she's like, what? And she instantly started, you know, freaking out. What the heck, you know? So stayed in county, the old county, nasty. One guy had crabs when we were in there, and I was like, golly, 8 beds, 4 on each side, a toilet in the middle, like old school, like if you was going to watch a movie of somebody getting thrown in jail, that's what it looks like.
A big cage.
And yeah, and it was so full that there was people sleeping on the floor even. So it's supposed to be 8-man cell, and there's probably 10 or 12 in there. And I spent 4 days there. They finally bailed me out. And like I said earlier, when I said that I was a good kid until I wasn't, um, everybody was like, it was out of character. That's not, what happened? Who's going, and they were surprised that I was the one going to jail out of everybody that I was related to and hung out with, that I was going to prison. And so, anyways, I came home, and then I didn't know that I was going, but I thought I was pretty sure. Came home. Just mom told me, my dad lived in Florida, Pensacola, Florida at the time, and my stepdad was a painter. My dad was a painter. My dad's still alive, but my stepdad passed. But everybody was painters, so from 16, 14, 15, we was taping off windows and, swamping, which means cleaning off shields so they can keep spraying. And so it's in the blood, painting. So it was come home from jail, go straight to Pensacola, Florida, work to pay my bondsman, to pay this and pay that. I had a family friend who helped pay for a lawyer, and went to court a few times to see what they were going to do, because I think you have three. Yeah, you have three preliminaries. By that third one, you better make up your mind, or you're going to trial. And that third one, they came back and said, "We'll give you 10 years, 10 years in prison, and something else, maybe 5 years out, and blah 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 blah." And maybe that was the second preliminary. We turned it down. Go back for the final one, and they said 5 years in, 5 years out. And I didn't like the sound of it, but I knew that I was guilty. I wasn't trying to, they say don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I wasn't trying to weasel out of nothing. I've always been a stand-up person. So even though mom's saying go to trial, you can beat it, I was like, man, I'm guilty. Why would I go to trial? My counter offer was, go see if they'll drop the 5 or the 5 in, and I can do this, probation or whatever. Just do that. And they said no. And I said, well, see if they'll do the 5 out, because I didn't want to go to prison for 5 years and then come home and still be on paper and having to do this, and that. And let's say I get in trouble, I'm right back in. They came back and said, okay. They said, you do the 5 years in, that's it, you're good. So I signed. When I had a little while to turn myself in. So
what year was this?
This was probably, I think I came home and like I said, I'm the worst when it comes to that. So hold on one second. Since I was 18, what's 76?
Dang, you're young.
Yeah. It's
So
like
this
94.
is 94. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't really
Maybe
run around
95.
with you then. I heard about it, but I didn't. I wasn't
Yeah, so
hanging
that's
out.
why you don't know what I was doing at that time, because I wasn't doing good. I was trying to get that behind me. So I was about 18. So signed for that, and then I probably stayed out maybe a couple years before I had to go in, year and a half, maybe even because they kept giving me extensions, and then finally my mom got in a really bad car wreck. I was supposed to turn myself in like right around that time, maybe a few days after she got into this wreck. My mom used to go to the Red Rooster. We lived, it's a 3 blocks, I guess, away from it, pretty much. 3 blocks, and then you make a
30th
right.
and Walker.
Yeah, so we living at 31st and Western. So, and it's, I think, Ollie, Francis, Chartel, maybe
Dewey,
it's like 5,
Walker.
like five blocks, and then you make a right or something like that. It's you're not going on any main street, so they got pretty comfortable coming and going to the bar, And my mom wasn't like my stepdad was more of a drinker than my mom, but I remember it clear as day, because when things happen like that, you remember. It was my nephew Dylan's birthday, and I believe it was Dylan. Yeah, I know it was a birthday, so I believe it was Dylan. And my mom was coming back, and a dude was on 30th, right there by the cemetery, parked, facing north. Yeah, and I don't know how he got to such speed, but by the time he got to 31st and Francis, which is like a half side block even, he hit my mom. She flipped up, landed on the porch of the house on the corner, and she almost died. My brother, somebody said something about, hey, I think your mom got into an accident up there, blah, 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 blah. And I remember just my brother just taking off, running down the block. And I was like, I didn't know what was going on at first, this and that, blah, 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 blah. She ended up, in the hospital, like broke her femur bone.
Ouch.
All kind of stuff. She almost died. So I got an extension on there. I didn't went to court. My lawyer's like, his mother's in, ICU, or, and, this and that. And it's like, okay, see you in 3 months, Mr. REDELK, something like that, So when I finally go in, I go in for 2 years, 2 months, I believe was the time I discharged. Like I said, I'm glad I got the 5 out drop. Came home, I was free. Didn't have to do anything, probation or parole, or, of course they weren't going to give me parole because I was a violent offender. At that time, the governor, I believe it was
Henry
Walters, maybe?
Walters.
Or not Walters. Who was after him? There was like
Probably
9 Walters. And the one that was real hard on crime, I believe. It wasn't Walters. It was
Frank something. Frank Keating.
maybe. Yeah, Keating. Yeah. I think it was him. He wasn't signing nothing. So even if you got parole, they wouldn't sign it. I remember that because the guy was like, even if you get it, they ain't going to let you out. So I was glad to discharge because I was home and I was free. And I did nothing for 6 months but have fun. My brother picked me up. Actually, the people that picked me up was him, David Bond, Valerie Martinez, who's no longer with us, rest in peace, and my brother. They picked me up from Ardmore Work Center. Came home. Like I said, had fun for like 6 months doing nothing. And I was like, nope, this is not for me. So I went back to Florida and I worked with my dad for like 3 more years. Stayed there.
Okay, that's where I pick up. I remember.
Yeah, that's the little gap from.
But that's when I started recording in there somewhere, and then you came back.
Yeah.
And we did some recording, and
that was fun. That was some fun right there.
It was good times. And I remember we went downtown once, me, you, and Ernie, and we were drinking at some bar somewhere, and we were just minding our own business, walking out to our car. Some guy was just talking smack to you, and I don't know if you remember or not, but we just kept walking. The guy was just something, and then we kept walking. We walked around the corner, and you just popped him once, and he was out, and we just kept going. I was like, okay, that's how Cliff works.
yeah. I had a few things like that. I'm not gonna lie, like I got into maybe 2 or 3 fights the whole time I was incarcerated, and I say incarcerated, but I mean I went to McAllister, behind the East Cell House. There was one place they had that was condemned, and they opened it up because there was no, like I said, the guy wasn't signing nothing, letting nobody out. It was so overcrowded in there. So when I first went in, they sent us there, and that was probably about as bad as it got. It was like I was at a real penitentiary, but I was such a young knucklehead. That's why I say I'm glad I went in, because I was ready for whatever, and I had a chip on my shoulder, and I was, But other than that, after that I got sent to. They said it was gonna send me to Walters Community Center. I didn't know Walters was a whole district. Like it has Hilton, Walters, Ardmore, Medill, all these different little work centers. I thought I was going to go be close to my family in Lawton. They sent me to Ardmore County Jail for 6 months. Then from there, I got to go to Hilton Work Center, which was like a little former VFW building. So it wasn't like I was behind a big gate,
right.
All this, a lot of people think prison, this and that. And a lot of times they're just little buildings and stuff where people you don't have freedom. You don't get to do what you want. You're still separated from your family and friends, and you're locked up, but you're not behind a whole bunch of barbed wire and this and that a lot of the times. But anyways, so
you were in Florida, and I remember you sent me a letter, or you sent me something. Maybe I can't remember what it was, but I remember sending you a microphone, I think. Do you remember that? You were like, I need a mic or something, and I was like, I sent you a microphone, I thought.
Maybe, because I know I had a little 4-track recorder.
I think I remember sending you a microphone, but it's vague. That was vague, and I can't remember. I think you sent me a letter, but that's what I remember. Yeah. Then you came back.
But what I was saying about the the incident you was talking about in Bricktown, which that sounds about right because it's like I said, I only got in like 3 different things when I was gone, but when I came home, it seemed like I had a little bit of pent up aggression. And I've never, like, even when I was a kid, like, people talk about fighting this and that. I said, I didn't fight a lot in school. I said, but when I did, I always fought a bully. And this has almost been like my life story. I've always fought people who want to fight other people. Like, if I see somebody, even to this day, sometimes I catch myself. I'll hear somebody over there, like, what, you want to go outside or something? And I'll look and be like, and then if you see that other person doesn't want to go outside, I almost want to be like, well, I'll go outside if that's what you want to do. Like, he doesn't want to. Leave him alone. And did it a couple of times, even when I came home. Did it a few times in Florida, and I was the only person. Like, here, we know a lot of people, and we had a lot of people who knew how to like to fight, knew how to fight. You remember running around with guys. So here, and we went somewhere, I never worried about stuff. Hell, a lot of times I just stick the pit bull, little chihuahua on him, Ernie, stick Ernie on him, little
Ernie will give him a left
dude,
hook.
like, oh, y'all want to fight? Well, over here, fight Ernie, leave me alone. And but in Florida, I was always by myself. My dad started calling me the bathroom bandit because these people would come up, and these are like a lot of redneck, like, I don't want to say redneck, but like just white guys with fish hooks on their hats, and over there it's kind of like OU, OSU, but it's the Gators and the Seminoles. So these are Gator fans. They have like a Florida Gator hat with a fish hook on it. You look like you think you're tough, big boy, that kind of stuff. And I'd always say, I'm okay, man, because I was always by myself. And when I realized that they were going to do something, and if I didn't do something, I'd always just wait till one of them went to the bathroom, the main one, go in there and do it, handle my business, and I'd walk out and leave. Dad started calling me bathroom bandit. So yeah, give them 1 or 2 quick boom boom, and it's over with. And I never wanted to hurt anybody, but a lot of times I felt back to the corner.
What they call heavy hands.
Yeah, I used to. I'm retired now. I wish I'd have, looking back, I have a lot of, not regrets, but even somebody told me one day we're at the Comanche Boy fights, which I can probably touch on that a little bit more. But he's just looking at me, Indian guy. No, he goes, "You look like you'd have been a good fighter." He goes, "You a good fighter, ain't you?" And I was just like, "Nah." He goes, "So maybe if I'd have did some training, gotten a little bit better shape, kept the heavyweight, but."
You're about the size of the heavyweight champion of the world. 6'2", heavy set, heavy hands. What's that dude's name? Garcia or some Mexican dude?
No, he didn't last very long. He's
Wow.
already. You're talking about Ruiz?
Yeah,
whatever?
Ruiz.
Yeah, he won it, but then boy came back and beat him.
Who's it? Joshua.
But the other one is the heavy. You can't be a heavyweight like me hardly anymore. Nowadays it's 6'6", 6'7", and because like Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm. Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, is he tall and?
He's 6'7", 6'6".
But Tyson Fury's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of had a little bit of pent up aggression, which I think I got it worked out and kind of settled down. And it's funny you mentioned Ernie. I was got any water?
Yeah, I'll get you some.
Running around with Ernie, it was just like I think he and I had a lot in common at that time, and I just had to separate. Yeah, we were just both not really looking for it, but once we found it, we were just kind of happy to find it. And I'm glad I kind of got out of that, worked through my pent-up aggression. Thank you.
Ernie got all of it out because he fought. I think Ernie was in jail every New Year's. The whole time I knew him, he was in jail.
Ernie is almost an enigma too for his family, because like the rest of them really ain't like that. I don't know.
Yeah, the Calderons? Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Mark. Mark is just this
laid back.
Yeah, just sweet. Just guys, how are you doing? Like. sure it's good to see y'all. You know, it's just soft spoken and Ernie like, what are you talking about? What?
Learn till you learn.
Learn till you learn. And I love him though.
Yeah, Ernie's good people now. He's like you. You just chill. Hey,
Yeah.
man, I'm going home.
Yeah, I talked to him when I told him that I hadn't drank in 6 months at the time. I'm going on probably 7 months now, and he said he ain't drank but a couple of beers and all, you know, in a long time. So, and you know, he doesn't do anything else hardly either. So
Works. Paints. So, real quick, we're going to go when we were recording, in my studio I met Toriano from formerly of High Five, and then he kind of talked me into getting a studio. So I went and spent all the money on a studio, and we built at a French Market Mall.
Yeah.
And then had Brian, Ernie, you, Fano, their whole crew. That was some fun recording there, and that's when I was like, this guy can spit a little bit. And then kind of ran out of money, and then moved it to my rent house. And then that's when we recorded a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember coming home. My brother's a big is responsible for me coming home, you know, because
he went and picked you up.
Yeah, I remember him telling people I'm going to go get Cliff, bring him back, because
I remember that.
I wasn't gone like that. That's the first time I was ever away from Oklahoma City for 3 solid years. I think I just got comfortable not being here, and another big thing was, like I said, I was running around. I got into a few different disagreements, and like I said, my dad was calling me the bathroom bandit, you know, because running in there and handling my business and then running out and or whatever, and kind of starting to get known there a little bit, kind of like Oklahoma City, where I'd go somewhere, and not even just for that, just going to, they had these bars called the Cove 1, 2, and 3, and I'd go there and walk in, and people say, hey, Cliff, what's up? You know, once it got to like that, that was a big draw for me, was the fact that I was in Pensacola, Florida, and the surrounding areas. There's Pea Ridge, Pace, Navarre Beach, these different areas. I was unknown, so I was like, I've grown up in Oklahoma City where everywhere I go, I can't go to Walmart, 7-Eleven without, hey, what's up?
Yep.
I like not doing that. Once it got to where, everywhere I went, somebody said hello or what you doing, and if I went to a bar, I seen people I knew, I was like, it's time to go home. Might as well be home if I'm gonna be here and know everybody. Then Lindy came, and we were painting some Navy housing, and I remember we were getting paid like the same as we normally do, but my dad, we knew he was getting paid what he was getting paid for each unit, and we were painting each one a day, like going in there, and it was all one color, so it was like ceilings, walls, everything light. I think it was like
tape it off
light
and shoot
gray.
it all.
I think we were rolling and just brushing. You know, the doors, everything was the same color, so we were just going there and just knocking them one a day. And we were starting saying, we need a little bit more, because we know what y'all are getting for what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyways, disagreement with my dad. My brother wanted me to go home, so it's perfect time. I said, I'm out of here. Came home, was hanging out, this and that, and then I remember first time, I think we're gonna go out, and he's like, come on. And Lindy pulled up at French Market Mall. I think we might have even said we'll go up there and hang out, maybe go to the Boar's Head, you know. That's probably why you set it up right there. Anyways,
I remember already talking about you, like, we gotta get Cliff in here to record, and
and went in there, and I can't remember the first thing, but I remember doing, I think it was just rapping over some beat or something in there, and I remember you guys were liking it, and like I said, we did a few things there. I think me and Brian might have did one song there,
mm-hmm.
but the majority of it was at the house. And I remember meeting Toriano, and his brother Alfred was there a couple of times.
Alfred Easy.
Yeah. Alfred Easy. The way Ernie always says it. Yeah, I like them guys. They were pretty cool. And what I was wondering, what are they doing these days?
Well, I talked to Toriano a while back because still have a couple of cases of the CDs that we had printed, those little 3-track CDs.
Yeah.
And so I met up with him. I haven't seen him in 15 years and talked to him for a little while. I still talk to Fano all the time.
Yeah.
He said Alfred's still around. He's somewhere, maybe in Texas. Tino, his little brother's around. And I don't know what Torian was. I didn't get talk to him that much. We just met up and gave him the CDs, and we just talked for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. Wanted to get hook something up where we get together again and just hang out and talk.
Yeah. I thought he was always funny and kind of fun to be around.
Yeah, he was easy going. He just wanted to sing and smoke a little weed, and that was it.
It's unfortunate what happened with, just imagine, I think they had like the number 2 or number 1 song in the country when he caught that charge, and
Yeah, he beat somebody up or something, and killed him or shot
I
him.
thought he shot somebody.
Shot somebody and killed him.
Yeah.
Just young and dumb.
Yeah.
Threw that all out the window.
Yeah, exactly. That's unfortunate because I liked High Five. That was like, until Color Me Bad and then Boys to Men, that was like,
They were the first.
they were like the first group that I liked R&B. Kind of like, I mean, I liked some, you like a song here and there, but I
I
wasn't
like
like
New
a,
Edition.
yeah, I
They
liked
were
New
just
Edition,
in there. They were in
obviously.
there with all of them because they had a
But I'm
couple of
talking
hits.
But the reason I say like they were the first that I remember with like the hip hop kind of beat behind it, like totally like where you could have took the music off and made it a rap song.
Mm.
To me, kind of, there might be other people, but that I really liked. That's what I liked about Color Me Bad a lot. Even if they weren't from here and if I didn't know them, I would have liked it because the beats,
Mm-hmm.
And New Edition had some stuff like that, but okay. Speaking of, the reason Ernie was probably like, we got to get Cliff in here, this and that, because when I was younger, I'm 6 years younger than all them guys, but they would take me with them, and I'm talking about like I'm 14 years old going to house parties, and I remember I'd go and I'd beatbox. I remember all the girls beatbox for me, because I used to do the Fat Boys thing where they used to.
Fat.
I love you. Yeah, and then I used to do the Faye. Remember that song Faye by Stetsasonic? So the girls always say, beatbox for me. I remember Chastity, Lindy's girlfriend at the time, a long time ago, she was like, beatbox for me. One time when she was staying over and this and that. And so I just remember the girls used to like the beatboxing. But I'd also go into a house party full of people, and I could just go around and just rap like, oh, your hat's red, I heard what I said, and I could just, I see you with a big ass nose, and
freestyle.
Yeah, and just freestyle, just point out like, and you got them bummy ass clothes, and just like, and just make it. I could just keep going for a long time. So that's when it started, and then I remember the first time I met Brian Abrams. We were always had a house party over at Ernie's, and
On 15th.
yeah. And he had came over there.
I think I was there.
He had been drinking prior, so I think he was pretty buzzed up already. Imagine that. But anyways, he was up on a bunk bed, I believe, in one of the little rooms, and in the back, I remember somebody came in there and was trying to get him up, and he's like, come on, whatever, get up. And I think he jumped down, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, you can rap? Let me hear something. And I just started rapping, And he was like, dang, you good, And then, but I was always just rapping. So that's why Ernie was like, we got to get Cliff in here.
Okay.
Because, I think that my first recording ever was with Aranda. They used to have you ever go to that studio on Capitol Hill? Ernie.
Ooh, Capitol Hill?
I think I went over there with Ernie. Ernie did, you ever hear Ernie's Jack and Diane?
Probably not.
Yeah, he covered Jack and
Did
Diane.
he?
I don't know why.
Whose studio was it? Do you remember?
It was Aranda did some stuff over there, so that's probably why he went there.
Okay.
I remember Aranda was doing something, and then they just played some beat, and had drums. I think even maybe Armando was with them back then. Remember their old drummer.
I went to Harding with him. He was in my classes.
They just played some bass and this and that, and I just did this rap that I had, and that was my first recording ever. And then my next one, I think I did, there was a guy over on 12th and May that used to have a studio, and it was called Ambient. And he would let you record, which I always paid him cash because I wasn't a drug dealer. But a lot of these other black dudes that I knew that used to sell crack would give him crack and record at the studio. Like, you could just have the studio for the day as long as you kept him.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I recorded a song there with a guy named Mark Murray. You know him?
Yep. Key Tech.
Key Tech. Another unfortunate story. He stepped out of I believe maybe even at the studio or something. Maybe not. Maybe I got the facts wrong. But
Now, he's still around. He's just gone, right?
Yeah, he shot someone, and something to do. And I don't want to speak on stuff I don't know, but from what I've heard, it was something to do with a guy that was messing with his wife, or maybe dating his ex or something. They had a disagreement. He was a good producer. He produced my first song. I think I was like 16. My first really like put together song. Yeah, I believe I was 16. And
I remember he came to my studio a couple of times, and he could play the keys. He could do all kinds of stuff.
he was a good producer. He not saying like he couldn't if he comes home and has equipment that he's not still a producer, but I think he's gone for a while. He did a couple of the remixes on or at least one that I know of on the Color Me Bad remix album.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was real close with Hamza and them. So yeah.
Now, did I remember correctly when you did some local stuff, just some local shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I remember you going to maybe a bar or a club or something and doing it, but I can't remember. It's just it's kind of a vague memory.
There's a place called Bora Bora. They used to do a lot of hip hop shows. I did, a couple in Bricktown. Here and there. My first one was at a friend of ours, Sean, I think his name was Sean Ellis. He passed. Anyways, he had a club on South Walker, or not South, Walker, like 10th and, now it's like where all those restaurants are. He had a club over there.
The Plaza?
Not the Plaza,
10th.
but where the YMCA is, all the way to like that bookstore now. It's like all those nice new buildings. There's like Cafe do Brasil.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a waffle place over there.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He had one of those buildings on the west side of the road.
West side of the road? Okay.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, the west side of the road, and it was one of those like it had an upstairs, downstairs. I remember we used to go there because he had like a VIP area, and we always. Brian Sigmund was real good friends with him. Another rest in peace, Brian Sigmund. He would take us there and go upstairs and hang out with this dude, and they always, had a little VIP area where we didn't have to buy drinks. We just sit up there and drink and hang out in the club. That was my first actual getting in front of people and rapping, and yeah, I was a little nervous, but I tried to take advantage of the whole thing, and I think my show was like 30 minutes long, whatever, and 21, 23 minutes, something like that, whatever, once I put the CD together to perform with.
And that's a long show.
Yeah, people said I was crazy. Like other rappers, when I told them, like around here, they're like, man, I do like 7-8 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then I watch it, but I was the only one performing that night. But I watch it and I kind of see why. And then I kind of, shortened it and made it where just the good stuff. Give them like 10 to 15 minutes at the most of just because I've been to shows. But also, I'm not bragging, but I'm good. But I've been to other places where people are not so good, and you're like, get off the stage already. You ever been somewhere and there's local rappers and it's their 5th song and they're like, and you're thinking, okay, this is it. And they're like, man, we got one more for y'all. And you're like, no, just go.
So you could always write though. You wrote some of the songs I listened to. I've got a few of your CDs and the stuff you did in my studio. It seems like you got a real knack for writing as well as the actual performance.
Yeah,
because you write some of that stuff. I'm like, dang, that's legit.
Yeah, it's I've always, and I think the reason I started writing was because I had something to say. I can't sing, so obviously rap was the thing, and I loved rap, but it gave me a voice. As soon as I started hearing rap, I was like, oh, I can do something. And like I said, when it started in Harding, I started out beatboxing like I did a minute ago for other rappers. And I would listen and I'd say, I can do better than that. So I started writing my own. And it started out, I remember like the first silly raps when I was writing. I remember like one I said, oh yeah, I got a mic in my right hand, a gun in my left. knocking on your door is the angel of death. And I remember my brother came and read it, and he was talking some other. I've been watching Scarface, and it was talking some other crap. He said, "Man, what's this stuff I'm reading?" And which I'm glad I did have him. You know, I do have him. I did have him then because he made me change my whole path because I was writing stuff that stuff I heard, like other people's stuff. And he kept me out of two things: the gang stuff, because I went to Harding Middle School, and all my friends were either. I mean, I hung around white guys and black dudes and Mexican dudes. So, if not to say stereotypical, but a lot of the Mexican and the black dudes were Hoover or Bloods or this and that, and they all liked me, and I was a big dude, and I would fight if I had to. I could handle myself. They wanted me to join, but I had it in the back of my head. I'm scared of getting jumped by all y'all. Not scared, but I'll do it, and I'll fight. And I even told him one time, I said, we're on the bus going to wrestling, and I told him, I said, they're like, we're going to court you on the Hoover, which means we're going to put you, on the set, as they say. We're going to initiate you. And I said, I'll fight all y'all. I said, but I'm not going to claim tomorrow. And I said, I'm not going to be Hoover. I'm not going to be nothing. I said, I got a brother at home who I'm scared of way more than all y'all put together. And he said he'll kick my ass every time he hears me say anything about any kind of gang. So he kind of kept me true to myself with the writing, because he read my first raps, and he was like, what's this? That ain't you. That's gangster stuff. You ain't no gangster. So from that point, I started writing from my own perspective, my own things, talking about Indian things sometimes, talking about my life, what I've been through. And it took a while for it to get to the point it is now. I still do it, not as competitively, and not trying to, I'm 44 years old. It's a young man's game, but I still do it as kind of release therapy. I still record, and it's weird how sometimes I have some stuff in my mind that I need to get out and go write it, get it on the paper, and it's like, it's therapeutic.
I agree, because even like fighters, when they're retired, they keep training. They're not hitting the bags anymore, not doing wrestling, not doing jiu-jitsu, not doing sparring. They're still playing that whole game. They just don't do it competitively anymore. Same with
like Tyson. You seen him lately? Not lately, but the videos that people have talked about. And he's got a podcast, which is pretty entertaining. Have you heard any of those?
I've heard Hot Boxing with Mike.
Hot Boxing, yeah. Because I listen to and I watch, because they got the videos. I told you this. I got my work from home, so I got this screen with work, and I got another screen. I got one of those cool little arms that go up, and you can put. It doesn't have all the stuff that comes with the computer screen. It's just like it's there. You know what I mean? So I got a nice desk, and I got that, and I got Drink Champs going over here, which is Nori and his DJ EFN, and I got my work going over here. And it's kind of background noise. I don't have to focus on it. It's not like a TV show, so I can work, but I can also kind of hear that. And I enjoy it. And that's why I know about the Mike Tyson, because Nori, the host of that one, rapper Noriega, he was on Hot Boxing. And I think Mike has this white dude who used to be a football player with him. I didn't really know him.
Was it Brendan Schaub?
No.
Wasn't him?
No, it's some dude. I don't think so.
I think I've seen it. I remember. But that's interesting.
I like Tyson, because Tyson can, and I've heard him talking to other people, like little clips where he talked to Lil Boosie, different other people, and like he'll straight up just say, because he can say it.
Yeah.
Like he said something to Lil Boosie or something like, what, do you think people would think you're a homosexual if you think like that? Something like that. And you can tell, like, somewhere like some normal white guy or whatever would be like, they'd be like, what'd you say to me? Like they'd act tough, but with Mike, they're like,
they got to answer the question.
yeah.
There ain't no out trying to fight or nothing.
No. So yeah. People that just because you retire or you don't do something doesn't mean you don't want to you don't enjoy it, and it doesn't give you benefit. You don't get benefits from it. And with the whole rap thing, like another thing I used to do was travel around with that. Speaking of boxing, was with the boxer Comanche Boy. I did some rap shows here and there, but that was what I enjoyed doing. I mean, I did that at Remington Park. I did it at casinos all around the state. I should have, if I had planned it better, I should have been able to go to Denmark. I thought I couldn't go because I was a felon, but I did get to go to Connecticut to one of the Mohegan Sun, one of the biggest casinos in the country. We were on ESPN2, Fight Night, not once but twice doing it, wrapping him to the ring. He got to where he was about 30-0 before he got his first loss.
Wow.
He was like where Sean O'Grady said we had the best interest in boxing after he saw us in Bricktown, because we'd start out with a war dancer. A couple times we had more than one, two of them sometimes. There'd be a war dancer in full dress, full regalia, whatever you want to call it, and they would dance in the ring. And whenever they get done with the boom, 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 my song would come on, and then me and my cousin, which was like kind of like a hype man, we would come and we'd walk in front of him and wrap him all the way to the ring. And it got really good when he had belts and stuff, WBA, all these little belts and stuff, holding them up in the air. It was fun. I enjoyed traveling. Like I said, we got to go to Connecticut.
When was this? Roughly.
I mean,
I know you're horrible at dates, but
the last one we went, the last one I remember going to was probably, I think 2008 or 9 when we went to Connecticut, maybe.
Okay. So 11, 12 years ago.
Like I said, I'm horrible. No, it wasn't that long ago. I'll have to look it up. But anyways, when we went to Mohegan Sun, I remember they handed me this microphone. And it wasn't 11, 12, not that long ago, because my daughter's only 12, and I remember trying to get her to turn the TV on. I was like, turn it on, tell your Meemaw to turn it on ESPN. Dad's fixing to be walking out, because they handed me this microphone. And I remember, and it looked like Steve Harvey's hair before he went bald. It was this big, like one of these, but it was huge. The
pop filter.
The pop filter, and and it said ESPN2 across it, and hand that to me, and I was like, golly, and that was something
in the big
else.
Time.
Yeah, that was something else to. And man, I was hyped up, ran in there and jumped in the ring like we always do. A couple of times I remember we just walked around the ring because they were like, don't get in the ring, and I realized that they're going to tell you all kinds of stuff. Just do what you want in the moment. So they didn't say we couldn't, but some places did, and we did anyways. But I remember jumping in that ring, running over there, and getting these people going, like doing the Hulk Hogan, the four sides of the ring, and hyped up. I remember even kind of getting over there by the fighter, and man, this guy's name was Delvin Rodriguez, and he used to be, or not used to be, he fought Trout. I don't know if you ever heard of, who's a good fighter, and they said that they thought that he got robbed, so he should have been champion whenever old boy fought him, because a lot of judges, they said it was one of those, like, it was clear that he won. So we get in the ring. I mean, I remember even going up like we even tried to intimidate the fighter, like, you're about to get whipped by Comanche Boy. My song, we had the Indian song that we used to do, 1 little, 2 little Indian, 3 little. I had that one. Also, we had one song called Comanche Boy Knock 'Em Out that I wrote for him. And man, I would I would, like I said, try to intimidate the fighter even. And man, after that, he got in there, and he's a tough Comanche Boy. That's his name, but he's also a tough Comanche, even though that's his nickname. But he is a tough Comanche Boy, because he took a whipping and never even went down. They had to just call it off, because he was just, man, that dude was a good fighter. But what it was is he traveled around Oklahoma circuit, all these casinos and this and that, and got a record of like 30-0. I think his one loss was, I forgot what his first loss was, but it was some BS. Anyways, then that might have been his first loss. No, maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. But anyways, got signed with a major promoter finally. Star Boxing is what it was called. And their first fight, they put him with this guy who just got off of almost whipping the champion. Not, you're good, you've been regional, you're at this level, we want to get you up here, and then we eventually want to get you here. No, let's take you from here to right underneath there where we want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was stupid. To this day,
It's usually not what they do with boxers. They take
No.
them very slowly. Up
well, with
that.
him, he started a little later in life. You know, I think he was, if not maybe late 20s, getting close to 30 when he started, and had like he always did tough man contests and wrestling, and I think he was like one of those decorated wrestlers, this and that. But he had 30 wins, and they're like, oh, we need you to, but they're all lower level,
Mhm.
like regional fighters. So he needed, no matter what his age was, what his record was, they should have took him in at least 2 or 3 prep fights. You know, move him up a level here and there. Not,
Right.
yeah.
When did you start going to school? I remember Ernie was always talking to me, and he would tell me how smart you were and how you should go to college and do all. I mean, you know, Ernie's always in your ear. If you
Yep.
get Ernie on something, he just don't let go. And he was like, "What, man?" And then you did start going to school, and you were like making whatever good grades, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But what started that, and where were you headed with that?
okay, with school. Okay. And it's kind of funny because I guess this is what comedians, performers, anybody do. They go back. You know, I kind of like I keep saying what I said earlier. You know, how comedians do that, and then they'll throw another. They kind of reference
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the night that joke's funny because they said it this and that. But I'm just saying, like I previously said about me being good but
student.
not being good for a while there. Like I was always a good student, and I never had to try. And like I said, I straddled that fence. I never really had to study. I just did well. I was in accelerated classes a lot. If not, I just breezed through and got an A pretty easily. So I always try to do what I'm supposed to do. With school, it was always, like I said, something about Emerson earlier. I got in trouble. Actually, we got into a fight in the principal's office. In the principal's office. I got into
Cliff REDELK.
Yes. A guy tried to start a fight with me in class. I had got in trouble the year before at Northwest, was allowed to come back even though I went to Emerson the year before. But they said, you're on restriction. Any kind of trouble, you're out of here. Okay, just let us back in. And it was me and my friend Lee. So we
Lee is hilarious. I'm going to tell you a story.
we're in the principal's office. And the reason I was in the principal's office, this kid had a tape measure for some reason. He said he's gonna hit me with it. He was a little Mexican guy, and I remember telling him, I was like, "Don't hit me with that." And I was like, "Just leave me alone. I'm gonna hit you with this." And I just said, "If you hit me with that," I remember we used to say this. I said, "I'm gonna bust your chops," you know. And everybody used to say, "Bust your chops," and he wouldn't listen to me. He kept on. I told him, here's my address. Wrote it down. Here, come over. You know. And he was just like, I'll see you, whatever. And then or he just kept messing with me. Teacher made him sit down. Then he said, we'll see you at your class. And I was like, man, I can't fight at school. We have to wait till later, I'll tell you. And I was, anyways, teacher made him stay because he kept talking. So he stayed after class. I left, being the smart kid that I was, knowing that I'm on restriction and I shouldn't be fighting. So I found Lee, or I seen Lee in the hallway, and I said, "This guy's trying to fight me, and this and that, blah 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 blah." He goes, "Man, I think Lee was feeling a little under the weather. My mom's coming to get me. I'm supposed to go to the office." Okay, well I'll go to the office with you. I'll just leave, you know. It'll blow over. We go, and then he walked in the principal. I guess he might have got sent to the principal's office or something. I seen him walk into the principal's office, and I knew as soon as I seen him, I was like, "Oh man." So he walked up and he went to say something, and I said, and by the end I had enough. I was like, "What's up with all that shit you was talking earlier?" And just bing bing bing, just started taking off on him. And I think Lee even ran up and hit him. Vroman came out of the office. "REDELK, Martinez, you got a minute to get off campus. Get the hell out of here." So we ended up running off campus and going home, and that was pretty much the end of my scholastic career at Northwest. Because like I said, I went to Emerson the year before, did what I was supposed to there, and kind of got stuff back on track, but I was trying to make up, and get back in normal school and do things like I should have. But if I mean, it was probably not the best decision in the principal's office, but this kid was clearly not going to let it slide. So I got kicked out, and it was always in the back of my mind. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm doing good in school. When before I got in trouble, I was always doing good. I'm good in school. I can get by with kind of eke by. Anyways, but
Dude,
it never happened.
I can't imagine being good at school.
You
I
know?
can't even fathom that. I was so horrible at school. I just, man, I never got, I got good grades when, like, I was my junior year or my first senior year, because I had two.
Yeah.
I was a counselor's aide. I had weightlifting, I had art, I had all these, whatever stuff that I could ace. And I remember getting like a 2.7 one semester, and I was just like, I thought I died and gone to heaven. I was like, man, this is cool, because usually I'm taking my report card and just finding the nearest trash can and just destroy the evidence, because I was horrible. I didn't want to learn. I had an antagonistic relationship with teachers because they were teaching me these things, like whatever, science or algebra, but they never told me why. They just said, hey, you need to, learn it, or just learning this. It's not like, hey, this is what we're teaching and this is how you're going to utilize it in your lifetime. And so I was just like, I almost had disdain for some of those teachers because I didn't want to learn until I knew why. So anyway, I can't imagine doing good in school. And because some of those people like you and other people who are just, they go to school and they're 3.75, 4-point students or higher. It's like all this stuff just comes easy to them. You read something in a book and it's like stamped there. But it does not work for me.
I've learned and you need to know your learning style. I think that might help. But
my learning style is doing, not reading.
Mine even to this day is, I have to look at something. I have to read it. Like look at it and read it. Like see it kind of done, kind of maybe like. Because like in college, I figured it out. Like if I read it, if I heard it, and then I did something with it, like usually it stuck. You know what I mean? Like go to hear the lecture, read it in the book or read it on the online chapter, whatever they give you to read. Hear it, read it, and then do something with it, like apply it myself. And then usually it sticks. But because they say, "Are you a visual?" I said, "I'm kind of like a mixture of all. Kind of like a mixture of all of it. Okay. I can't just look at it. I can't just hear it. I kind of got to do." So, yeah. And it's funny you say that about the grade point and this and that, because my brother used to say, or my dad used to say about my brother when he brought his report card home, that he used to say my brother was going to Six Flags. I remember saying, "Well," he said, "Yeah, your brother's going to Six Flags again." Because he had 6 F's, and then he also said, and my dad, his parenting style is funny, because he used to drink a lot when he was younger, and he wasn't around when I was, Lindy was around him more than me, but I remember he said, I look at your brother's report card and said, well, the world needs ditch diggers too, son. So yeah, not everybody, and my brother's smart, and he just didn't do the work. He wasn't there. He wanted to do other things. But so yeah, later I worked at Marianne's Rentals, which is I was setting up tents, tables, and chairs, and all that forever.
I remember that.
Always with the back of my mind, and I remember even telling some of my coworkers, like, I'm gonna go back to school, man. I ain't doing this forever. And I remember I even apologized to one of them, my friend Freddie. I said, later on, once I kind of got some clarity, and you look back as you grow and you think I was an asshole, and I was like, I said, I'm sorry, man. He's like, what? And I was like, I think we were drinking at the time and getting kind of, you get kind of, I just want to apologize, man. I was what? I was like, man, all the time we'd be working together, and I used to call you company man, and and give you hell, and then I'd always say, man, I'm going back to school. I ain't doing this forever. This ain't my life. You know, it was always like that. Like, I always had kind of like I'm better than this kind of attitude that I'm going back to school. But I never did it until I had my daughter.
You think that was you saying all this was kind of like ramping up to like execute
Yeah.
the plan kind of thing?
Like, it was always don't get comfortable, even though you can do this forever. And like, it wasn't good on my body because I had back problems from all that. Of course, part of it was my fault for being stupid and trying to show out and
Lift 10,000 pounds by yourself.
I used to grab. We used to have 8-foot table contests, and me and this guy Chewy, rest in peace, Chewy Jesus Torres. He passed away from COVID, not too long ago. And strong man. He used to arm wrestle, or finger wrestle. He'd go like this. He's big old and he was. I mean, I could probably throw him across the room, if it came down to wrestling. But he probably wrestled pretty good too. Anyway, now I think about it, but just strong. And he'd grab my finger, and each time I'd be like, hey. I could beat him arm wrestling. I could beat him at other things. But remember, me and him, I could grab 5 8-foot tables off the back of the truck, and it's probably like from here to like if I could probably carry more, but that's as far as my arm would stretch without dropping them. So stupid stuff like that. So yeah, but it was always like, I'm gonna quit, So I'm saying I couldn't do that forever, body wise. So I knew I was gonna have to switch it up at some point. I didn't know if I was used to think because I smoked so much marijuana when I was younger that I was shooting blanks. Never had a scare. Never had like, oh, Cliff, you got me, pregnant or any of that kind of stuff. Never had an abortion or anything like that when I was younger. So I thought maybe my count was low, sperm count. So I just thought I couldn't have them. And then here comes my daughter. I was about 32, I believe, when she was born. And I told Fernando, which is my, Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Fernando. I told him, I was like, I don't know. Not everybody knows him, but a lot of people know him. I was like, I said, I'm done after this year. He's like, what? I said, I'm going back to school. And I went to OSU OKC, signed up, this and that. Tribe helps out, gives you a good little check each semester. So I didn't have to work. I just got my FAFSA and money from the tribe, started going back to school. And like I said, you go into the class. A lot of it was online later on, but when I started out, it was all on campus. You go in, sit there and listen for an hour and a half, whatever it is the class is. Go home. There's the online classroom. You log into OSU OKC. There's like Wednesday, there might be, let's say you go to class on Monday. By Wednesday, you have an assignment due, which is just read this stuff and answer these 10 questions or whatever. Then by Sunday of that week, there's a quiz or there's something else that's due that Sunday. So anyways, listen to the thing, do that, and then it kind of sticks, and then you move on to the next chapter and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And if you're not 20, drinking every night, living in the dorm, trying to, get every girl on campus, if you're older and you're you got a daughter that you're raising, which I was, I've always had my daughter with me. It's different, so I had a 4.0 the entire time I went to school. All the way to when I graduated from UCO. I graduated summa cum laude. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
And I'm a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. I joined that because I thought it would look good on the resume and all that kind of stuff. And it cost $75 to join. I've never really talked to anybody who's a member of it or really done much with it. And I thought they said that my lettering on my diploma would be different, but I don't think it is. And I don't know. I never really, maybe I think because, I have a daughter. She's technically my stepdaughter, but, she's going to Temple University in Pennsylvania here soon. She graduated a year early. Epic High School. She's really good in school, and I'm glad she's going to a good school. And I'm hoping that she's going to get one of those jobs where that kind of stuff matters. But I don't think for me going later in life, because I started at 32, and going out and getting jobs in Oklahoma. Like, it'd be different if I was going to try to be the VP of Vogue or something. They might say, you're a member of Phi Theta Kappa. You have a, you know, like, I mean, like, you have a 4.0 all the way through. Like, you're going to get the job instead of this person who has a 3.8. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but I don't think in Oklahoma, kind of the way, unless you're in certain industries, I don't think it really, like, you think it
doesn't really
it does
matter.
for certain jobs. But for me
Very
and you,
few.
do you think it would matter for us where we are right now if it was from UCO because compared to OU?
No. And even, I mean, the norm is, you know, whenever you're applying for a job, I mean, unless it's like with a big law firm or something, you know, where they care, like, what school did you go to? They just say, do you have the proper credentials? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's interview him, see where he is, and then you hire the best candidate.
Yes.
That's 90%, 95% of jobs.
And I found if you can get in front of somebody, like especially somebody who can talk like we are, that I can do better than somebody who's probably has Harvard written on their resume if it's talking to someone. You know what I mean?
Never had a job and
Yeah.
never had to communicate with anybody and just went to
And-
school.
And the big thing is the experience, because I noticed I graduated and I'm like, okay, I got 4.0 all the way through. I got this degree, Phi Theta Kappa, all this stuff I was thinking was going to like put me at the top of the pile. And you go on Indeed and it says, must have 3 years experience. And
2 years experience required.
yeah, and I have 0. I didn't see 10 years sledgehammer. I didn't see where that counts. It was like, I mean, all the requirements are like, 2 years of, Java, just all these different softwares and different things. And there's other things that I don't even know what they are because I'm not. But I was looking for, I ain't gonna lie, I started out with looking for some good jobs, and then I eventually go, looks like I'm gonna have to go in entry level and then earn my way a little bit. And I haven't done that yet, but I did start out on a telephone. Went through an agency because at first I started out thinking I had to tell the truth about my past. So I was putting on there that I'm a convicted felon. And I got told no, or never just heard anything back. And then I actually went to a company and explained to them, they're called Robert Half, explained that, okay, I am a felon and I'm having trouble getting a job. I don't know if they thought, oh, well, maybe it's something different or whatever. I don't know what they thought. So they got me a job. I was working doing LIHEAP. You know LIHEAP? It's energy assistance for DHS. So they'll pay your your electric or something like twice a year. They do it for the electricity and they do it for the air conditioner in the summer, and they do it for the heating in the winter.
Okay.
So you can call and they'll give you some assistance, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I was doing that, learned it pretty quick. Yeah, they have like a little training program where they teach you how to work the different programs to pull up their file, look and go find their income and find this and that. You're just basically checking if what they're saying is the truth. Then you call and say, hey, we got you, $352, going towards your electricity. Anyways, I came home probably going on like the second week there. Not the second week there. The second week actually. No, maybe training was a lot shorter. Maybe it was a week training and then you got on the phone. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Or maybe it was 3 weeks. I know it was really short time that I was there. Like I said, I'm bad with time. And I was in my driveway coming home, and they called me. This is such and such from Robert Half, and unfortunately we have your background check, and unfortunately we're going to have to let you go. I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I was in the driveway. My daughter came out, man. I was out there crying because I just felt like, man, I got in trouble when I was 18 years old. Here I am, 40, still paying for it, and can't even get a job because I'm telling the truth. Anyways, so I did a little research, found out they go back 7 years. So I stopped telling the truth. Started saying, checking no, because
Last 7 years, I'm not a felon.
yeah. So ended up getting another job went to another agency, and ended up on the phone, which I didn't really want to do, but I took the first thing smoking because we had a baby coming in a month. And before that, I was painting with Ernie and doing some different odd jobs. And I just graduated, not too long before that. And I had a little gap because I had a little health issue, and ended up in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and was basically just working on trying to get in better shape, which I did, which I'm back on again, trying to get back to where I was at that
I don't
point.
think I remember that.
Yeah, I ended up in the Indian hospital down in Ada for 2 weeks. I had cellulitis, which what it was is when I was finishing school, I was doing a lot of online, this and that, so I was home a lot, wasn't going out, this and that, and I started, I did it to myself pretty much. I was drinking a lot of whiskey with Coke and smoking in my room while I was doing my schoolwork, and just, I'd start out, take a shot, take a drink of Coke, smoke a joint, whatever I was doing at that time, and was just finishing work, been doing my schoolwork. I would start out doing that, and then when I get done with schoolwork, I would start a little bit more. I get buzzed up, and I'd start listening to rap music, start writing some raps, whatever. I was just in my room a lot, hanging out, But I didn't think about the consequences because I like to drink. I'm Indian and I can drink a lot, so I'd get like a decent little bottle of whiskey, and I would drink a good portion of that 2 liter of Coke, and my blood sugar just shot. Took me from borderline to diabetic real quick. So
that's what cellulitis is.
It's what it is. Cellulitis is an infection, skin infection. So what happened was I was supposed to start doing what I was supposed to be doing. Well, that's what I was telling you that because that's what I think got me diagnosed with the diabetes, and I hate that word, but hard to pronounce. Is it diabetes or
Yeah, you're diabetic.
I don't want to pronounce it like
no, this is type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. So, anyways, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing even after I got diagnosed, and I was thinking, whatever. I thought I had a hernia, but it started out feeling like a hernia, and then the boys just swelled up like a cantaloupe over Christmas. Yeah, I remember getting dropped off at the at the Amtrak. We rode a bus down to a family friend's for Christmas, and I remember when the Uber dropped us off, I was like, golly, I gotta walk way down there. Walked way down there. I got on the elevator, went up, and they're like, yeah, you gotta go down there and get on, way down the other end of the train where we had to go get on. I was like, oh man. Well, I got, and once we got to her house, I remember getting up in the chair and reclining and just staying that way the whole Christmas holiday. Took an Epsom salt bath and this and that. I'm thinking it's a hernia. First, I'm thinking it's like an abscess or something that I can get rid of. And I remember taking like an Epsom salt bath, and it would give me a little bit of relief. And it just got to a point where, like, the day before Christmas, I was like, man, this ain't going away. So I went to the Ada, Chickasaw. They got a nice facility. I got dropped off there like the day before Christmas. Or like the day before Christmas Eve, I guess, because I don't think it was Christmas Eve. Spent 2 weeks in there. I think I dropped like 20 pounds while I was there. They told me that what it was is infection feeds off of that sugar. So if your sugar's elevated, you're just a breeding ground for infection.
Inflamed.
So they had to do surgery, leave it. I mean, like I said, it was like a cantaloupe down there. And they had to lance it, it was right next to them, but everything swelled down there. So right next to, the boys, and they had to leave it open. Man, that's the most action I had in a long time. had girl nurses in there every night playing with them. But anyways, they'd pull the packing out and then have to stuff it again. I remember like every day it was just like it was wonderful to hike myself up and kind of cover myself up so I can have a little dignity, and then they would do it, clean it, and then pack it, and then I would go, or maybe I'd get a shower, and then they would do that, and then I'd get my bed changed, and I remember just having clean sheets, clean packing in my wound, and I was clean, and I would just lay down, and just by the time I was done, it was like, it was 2 weeks, it was hard. And then I remember my daughter came to see me. It was hard to be away from her. Like I said, I've had her, living with me forever. And she walked in, First thing she said, she goes, "Dad, how's your balls?" It's like, shut up, girl. So yeah, so that happened. So I had a little health scare, and then I got on like a kick where I was like going to the Y and doing this and that, which I need to get back on, which I have been lately. I was.
You know, you can control that diabetes. You can get rid of type 2 diabetes with your exercise and diet.
Yeah,
Your
it's the
strict
pyramid. It's the pyramid. It's diet, meds, and exercise. So I was 456 at my heaviest. Yeah. I got down to like I think it was like 350, 3 something. And like, you'd be surprised, like 350, I almost look like I'm in good shape. Like, I'm a big guy. Yeah. So, then I got with my wife, which we dated like 14 years ago, 15 maybe now, and it didn't work out. We were friends for like a year, always kept kind of like not close contact, but kind of watched out for each other on Facebook, this and that, and, how you doing, went to Whitewater. I put on there on Labor Day. I said, I'm going to Whitewater. We're going to Whitewater tomorrow. Who wants to meet us out there? She's like, I'm going to be out there with my son. I'll see you. First time we've seen each other in forever. And we got together and been together ever since, pretty much. But the reason I was saying that is because I got to where I was like I guess I got happy with her because I was doing real good then. I was in good shape. And we just started eating good. And how you do when you fall in love. You kind of, everybody seems to get fat when they fall in love. And started seeing it go back up again. And I was like, damn. Remember even Roy told me one day, Roy Stillwell was like, you gaining that weight back, And I think the highest I've seen was 420, 426 or something again. I was like, damn, I got to get back on it. So, and even the doctor was talking about at some point I got to where she didn't even know if I was diabetic or not, because she's like, your blood sugar is like, are you diabetic? And I was like, yeah. So it got to where it was like close to 10 again. It's supposed to be like 7, or maybe a little bit higher, but below 7 is like not diabetic, And so I just started. She goes, well, we're going to have to, I want to see you in 3 months. We're going to do some do some blood work. And she goes, and if things aren't better, we're going to have to see about changing your meds, which means, insulin in the stomach probably, and I'm not trying to do that. So over the last 3 months, I just kind of buckled back down, started eating better, started doing what I'm supposed to do, make sure I take my meds religiously, which I usually do, but sometimes I run out and forget to fill it in time. But I went back and it was 8.1 this time instead of close to 10. So we're on the way back down. And I've noticed what's weird is, like you said, you can get off of it. If you keep your blood sugar where it needs to be, the things you do to keep it there, it's automatic. You lose weight, you get in better shape, you start feeling better.
Yeah.
It's just like you can't keep it at, like my mom said, like a neighbor of ours told her that, oh, I'm gonna eat a piece of cake, I'm gonna take another pill. You can't take your pill when you're supposed to and then like eat some chocolate cake and take an extra pill. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? So doing the things you need to do to keep it, you automatically.
Very, very low carbs.
Yes.
No sugar, no soda, no juice.
Soda is like
This
trying to kill you.
That's diabetes.
Yeah, it is in a can. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing better. And I noticed that like when I weighed myself, I was like, and I even told, I went there and said, hey girl, I said, what I've been doing is working. I was like, because I said, I ain't gonna lie. I said, I was like 420 something at the old house last time I weighed. And since we moved over here, I haven't really weighed myself. I said, but I just weighed myself and I was like 388. And I was like, I'm starting to go back down to where I need to be, And she was like, really? She goes, you lost like that's like 30 pounds. I was like, yeah. So that's what I kind of been on, getting back on that. And it's helping that I bought a house because, owning a house is a lot of work.
Full-time job.
Yeah. And me too. I got kind of OCD, so I put a shed in. So that means I built the frame, lifted it up first I started with a bed of rock. So that's going to the material store. It's called Minnick Materials, and getting 10 5-gallon buckets full of rock. Oh, I need 10 more. I'll go back and get 10 more. And like one day I said, I moved like 1,000 pounds of rock today. And she's like,
just have them bring a dump truck. They'll run a dump truck out there.
Yeah, but it costs money. I got more time than money. So anyways, especially working from home, and Not that I don't have to work, but you know what I'm saying. So, anyways, I'm just constantly got something doing. Always doing something around the house, which I know is not like running a mile, but moving 1,000 pound of rock. I bet if you told somebody,
That's
hey,
work.
yeah,
Man, that's what was that story I was thinking of?
I see what you talk about how you just do this and you just
Yeah, hour and a half goes by.
yeah. And 2013 was when I was in Connecticut for the big fight with Comanche Boy. By the way, I was looking at it 20. I knew it wasn't that old. I was looking at something the other day. It was 2008, but we was doing it all through those years. At least from probably before 2008. But yeah, it was fun. Like the reason I was telling you about that and the whole thing with the music thing, like part of the reason why I was like, to hell with it, I'm a rap anyways. That's why I didn't do school religiously, and I should have. Because if I could go back, like they say, if you could go back and if you could teach your younger self something, or if you could send a letter, it would be stay with that smart school stuff, graduate early from college, graduate early from high school, graduate early from college, get I'd probably have me a nice little apartment down especially if it was the way it is now, but it wouldn't have been then. But anyways, maybe move to another city, move to New York, Cali, somewhere, give me a little 1 bedroom somewhere and work at my music. Have a nice job where I can support myself because I have a degree. I'm doing this and that, and just work on my music. But instead, I was dumb. I tried to have, and then I could have had fun. You know what I'm saying? Oklahoma, like you said, there was nothing to do. We were all bored. That's my one regret, that I didn't wait to have fun. I had to have it while I was young, and I wasted all my years that I could have been doing something serious with the music because I was really good. And that's my one regret. But I can also say that I feel like I kind of had fun because I traveled around with a professional boxer. I performed in front of thousands of people. I mean, it wasn't a little, hell, even the show with Color Me Bad in Dallas, hell, that was like 2,500. It was like a 2,500 capacity place, and it was like overflowing. You know what I mean? They were talking about, man, the fire marshal could shut this down if they came in here, and that was with Coolio and Tone Loc and all them. Coolio was a character.
He looks like one.
Yeah, I remember just seeing all that, and he had a hat and all that stuff sticking out of his hat, and he came out. He's like, came up, and we just got off the whatever channel it was, kind of like here it'd be like KJ 103. It's like their summer show.
Oh yeah.
Got off their van, and he walked up, and he was like, "Man, there's Coolio," walking out to the hotel, and we went in there and even smoked with him and hung out with him, and he was cool. He was crazy, and I remember meeting Tone Loc. The only thing I remember telling him how, man, I was like, man, I just want to say I respect you. Growing up, man, we used to listen to you guys and this and that, man. You've done it. You done what I want to do. I got to respect that. And he's like, that's all I remember because it was, his voice, and it was so loud back there. I didn't hear a word he said.
Wow.
He probably was just like, I appreciate it, man. But I mean, it was just garbled.
Yeah.
Because his mama gave him that tea, that remedy. They say that's what happened. He had a sore throat or something, or something. He was sick, and his mama gave him some home remedy that she burned his throat. That's why he speaks like that. That's what I heard.
Interesting.
Never really Googled it to see if it's true or not. But yeah, so it may be kind of a regret that I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But the other day, Ernie even said, I don't regret nothing because it's turned us into the men that we are now. And I think that too. I'm happy where I'm at now. And I got to go travel the country and, go to different places, Connecticut. And like I said, he did go to Denmark. I wish I'd have figured it out where I could have got my passport and went there with him. But other than that,
You're still young though, man. You're still
I'm young.
You still got another 40 years, of working and doing, whatever you want to do for.
Oh yeah, I can do other things.
You could be a 75-year-old rapper.
Yeah. That's the only thing is, like I said when I was bringing up earlier when I told you about the Drink Champs I listen to, he always says he wants to give them their roses while they're here, or if they're your flowers while you're here. We don't want to wait till you die. And he's like, and something about, he goes, our game, the hip hop game is when you get 10 years in the game, you're washed up. You're a has-been. And that's how he goes, rock and roll, they treat their legends, like the Rolling Stones are still out there doing it, this and that. But ours, we treat them like they're just done when they get past 10 years, and that's kind of true.
That's
It's a young
interesting.
man's game. It's a young man's game. So I just got to a point where like,
But I don't think like the rappers. It seems like they stopped working. They stopped. They're not kind of relevant anymore. Like whoever, what Lil Wayne or somebody back from like 2003 or 2005, like Coolio. Back then, 15, 18 years ago, he was at the top.
yeah,
But he's not turning out records. He's not playing anymore. He's not doing anything. But
I don't think he can do records like he did then. Anyways, even if he did, it's kind of. I mean, I heard a Too Short Coolio record the other day. I don't know how old it is, but it's fairly new. But it's just like they can independently release it and they can do videos, but it's not like this. There's a whole new wave. There's these newer people. It's just
who are they? I mean, what are you going to rap about when you're 50? You're not going to talk smack like you did when you were 20. Talking about just girls and money. Gets old after a while.
That's what Too Short was rapping.
Right.
It was about girls. It was a dirty video. Yeah, it was Too Short and Coolio, which I thought was kind of a weird mixture anyways.
Have you heard of Young Gravy?
Mm-mm.
I think I told this to one of the other guys. I was like, he was on a podcast I listened to him, Caleb Peterson. And he's like you. He's a white guy. Of course, I know this. He sounds black.
Yeah.
When you hear him. But he's real smart. He was like in a big firm somewhere, making a lot of money. And he got, he's doing this at home. Like you were saying, he was just chilling on his computer, making videos or making music and putting it out on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And he blew up. It's like 10 years ago when SoundCloud was still.
Yeah, there's even a term, SoundCloud rappers.
Yep. That's what he was.
Yeah.
And he kept everything in disguise because of this firm, you didn't want to let it out. This guy was, he went by Young Gravy. And he was like Too Short, bit real dirty, just real dirty. But he was good. I mean, he's real good. He's like 6'8" white guy. That's real smart, and he just blew up, and then he finally quit his job. He just does it full time. You have to look him up because it's pretty interesting, and he's good. He's good. He's like he's like you. He's like a good writer and a good performer, and he just looks like you don't care because he don't care.
Yeah,
and it makes you just that much better.
It's kind of funny when you think. I was just thinking the other day that there's this guy Thomas the Third. He's an Indian guy that I know from Anadarko. He's also an Indian rapper, and I did a song with him and a friend of his. He goes by Second Born Son. His name's Keno. And I don't know why I was just in this mood. And I think at that time I was just kind of like just saying what I wanted to say, and it's really dirty. And he got into a car wreck last Friday and passed away.
Oh man!
And that's the only song that me and him did together. So I was listening to it, and I was like, and they even did a video, but I think I was busy at the time, or maybe I just didn't want to do it. But they did another version with somebody else, and that guy, I think his name Nicodemus. I mean, not take anything from him, but our version is better. But I was thinking, like, that's the only song I got with him, like, can't like I can be like, tell the family, oh yeah, oh my God, it's just it's dirty. Like it's called Rolling Through, whatever. And I'm thinking, I was like, it's REDELK. I don't know. Do they cuss on these, or do you? I mean, I know you're not putting it on the radio or anything, but do you usually try to keep these pretty clean, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're not 16 just FFFFF.
Oh yeah.
But if you need it for impact.
No, but I was just saying, like, I was just thinking about how, like, it'd be nice if I had a nice song with the guy, that I could share with the family. I'm REDELK, we did this, but it's just like REDELK, bitches, who you thinking it was? come through, smoke a drink, comes through, smoking dank, get my drink and get buzzed. Something about I'm crazy as fuck. Something about I'm lazy as fuck. No, something. Yeah, and then it says I'm crazy as fuck. I made her suck then ride because I'm lazy as fuck, and I was just like listening to it, and I was like, what was I thinking at this time? Like I was just. And I normally don't talk like that, you know, especially in my song. Like you try to keep it clean, but I hadn't heard it in a while, and I played it, and I was just like, oh.
Why do you think that is? When we get older, we kind of look at some of the stuff. Because if I look at videos of me when I got married, and like we were going somewhere when we were married, and I'm rolling the videotape, and we're just F and F and F, and she's like F F F, and I'm like, I'm looking at it now, going, what was I thinking? Why was I just cussing because I just didn't have a grasp of the English language? What was I thinking?
Yeah.
It was just the way it was.
And when we were younger, it was that F word was. I mean, and to this day, some people I know, they're still. It's just, you know, and sometimes I'm around younger people, nephews and stuff, and them and their friends, and it's just, you know, like, F, man. What the MF and are we effing doing today? You know, F like in one word, like one sentence, it was like FBMF, and I'm just like, yeah.
I think it's better not to do it and only do it, you know, when it's
an exclamation point when it's needed.
Yeah, for impact maybe, or to express a certain point of view, or you know, anger or something, not that's just kind of all the time.
That's why there's like, and not to say like Andrew Dice Clay isn't good or certain people aren't good, but there's some people that would say that it's, what's the word they use in movies? Gratuitous. Like more than, you know, it's just a bunch of it. Whereas when you got somebody who's more craftfully puts it together, it's better. You know what I'm saying? Like more like a Richard Pryor or somebody who's a little more, which is obviously better than Andrew Dice Clay, but you know what I'm saying? With him, it's just a whole bunch of, it's almost like a fart joke, kind of like, or you know, yeah. So basically, I was just saying, it just kind of cracked me up that when you was talking about dirty and this and that rapper, that to this nowadays when I do stuff, like I mean, unless it's totally necessary, there's not even the last probably
funny how
7 or 8 different recordings I've done, there's no cuss words, you know. I just don't really need them.
Man, there was a story I wanted to say and I can't remember it, so I guess next time I have you on, I'm gonna be like, hey man, I'm gonna write down. So I have these yellow pads here, and I never write anything down because it's always last minute.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna take notes tonight and tomorrow and be like, man, this is what I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to do something and it was more structured, like even like listen to this one and be like, I think if we discuss this and this and this, then yeah, we could do that for sure. It's kind of, I like what you're doing. Like you said, you kind of, I even told, you know, the missus, and then we're not even married. It's just, you know why I say my wife is because I bought her the ring. She bought me my ring. We've done everything in reverse. When
y'all gonna pull the trigger?
Soon as possible. I mean, I don't say soon as possible because I want it, and I'll tell you real quick in a second how I want to do it and why not soon as possible, but soon as possible with what I want to do for her. As soon as possible, we could go to the courthouse tomorrow, but I don't want to do that because
Monday.
Tomorrow's
Sunday.
Well, you know. Yeah, well, I can make them open up. Yeah, I got some connections.
Just kick it in.
Turn into my old self. No, I don't want to do I want to give her at least something. She deserves it. You know, I haven't been married before. I kind of got engaged, but you know, not really. I just went to a work party and got too buzzed up, and I had a tuxedo on. And when I came home, her grandma, this is my daughter's mother. I went to a work party. They had us parking, and we really didn't have to do much parking. We just kind of helped people get parked. And it was for Susan B. Coleman, whatever the
Coleman
breast cancer. So I had a tuxedo with a pink cummerbund, whatever. And after we got everybody parked and the party went on, they had these really good margaritas, and I mean there was a bunch of them left over, so I was just in the back room drinking these margaritas, and I got good and buzzed up. And then when I came home, her just what are the odds that her grandmother would send her their family ring so we could get married? And I walk in and she goes, "Look what my grandma sent," and it's her family ring, and I'm buzzed up with a tuxedo on. So I get down on one knee and I propose. Then she, and not to speak bad about her or anything, but she has her problems, and we didn't get along very well. I mean, obviously it takes two to tango. We got into a lot of fights, and I told her, I said, "Give me 6 weeks." I told her, I said, "Give me 6 months without a bad fight, and I'll marry you. Okay. Then I remember telling her after our next big fight, I said, "Give me 6 weeks, I'll marry you." He got to where I said, "Give me 6 minutes, give me 6 days, give me 6 seconds." Golly,
So what do you want to do with this new one?
Okay, so the reason I say we're not married yet is because COVID obviously kind of made it. I wanted to do a big wedding, but not a big wedding, but I wanted to do something. Then now I don't. Now my mind state's kind of changed. I just want to do something for her where she can, I want to rent a room, decorate it real pretty, let her dress up however she wants to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't do a tuxedo, but I'll probably rent a nice suit. I probably should just get one, but I want it to be real nice, with a different color. They have those big, like a big red tie or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No,
you want a bow tie or a bolo.
Indian guy in a bolo tie. That's a what's the stereotype? No, like a big knot, Windsor knot, like Donald Trump, like red tie or something, Okay. And I don't mean to say Donald Trump, but you remember how he's always got a nice big.
You love Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's me.
Until he became president, anyway.
Yeah,
like every other rapper.
Yeah, he is like a rapper. He's like a battle rapper, they say. Anyways,
so big Windsor tie.
Just want to get a nice suit on and let her have a nice dress, and then rent a room and decorate it, and then that way because she's never had that, and I've never been married. She was married when she was younger, to her not younger. I mean, a while back. I mean, but it was she got back with her first her son's father, and it didn't work out. It went bad pretty, and they did the courthouse thing. So I don't want to do that. I want to give her something. She deserves it. She's a good woman. So I want to do that. And so I want to do it soon. And really before, I want to do the whole feed people and do the dance and get people drunk and all that. But
I guess you didn't come to my wedding, did you?
When was that?
1997?
I didn't get invited.
You were probably in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, I probably was. Yeah. But what I was going to say is now that I'm sober, going on 7 months now, I hate to be selfish, but if I'm not going to be drinking, I don't want to get a bunch of people drunk. It's just not, and it's just not really something I'm really interested in. So I wanted not even have a long thing, just rent somewhere and let her do our thing for an hour or two. If people want to be there, if they're scared, we can just put it on Facebook Live or something, and just let people see us get married. And then maybe take her to 21C Hotel because that's where I proposed.
Right on.
Yeah. I did good there. That was our first date. My brother was cooking at 21C. My little brother that used to live in Florida, my dad's second marriage, was cooking at 21C. He invited us to come eat there. That was on my birthday.
How'd you know this girl? You told me about it.
She used to bartend at Henry Hudson's.
Okay.
We used to go there after work.
And you told me her name, and I think she was on my Facebook,
Yeah.
and I was looking at her for I don't know how long. You were telling me, and I was like, "You motherfucker! You got that girl? She's single forever." And
yeah,
I never said nothing to her, and then you swoop in, and she's freaking cute.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl inside and out. We were friends. It's weird. I was smitten as soon as I seen her. I seen her at the one on 58th. Then I was happy when she got transferred to the one over on Western because that's where we hung out after work. So me and her, we always got along really good. We always had good conversations. I made her
I see
laugh.
you there. The one back
The hideout.
on the east side of Western.
Yeah. And so
You
we
were
had
there
like
a few years ago, I think
yeah,
it was.
we had like a courtship, kind of like, it's like, even though we weren't dating, it was like we were just getting to know each other for like a year. She was actually still with her daughter's father at the time, but it was going bad. And at one point she goes, hey, we're not together anymore. And I was like, and we got a little intoxicated in Bricktown once, and they gave me a ride home, and we kissed in the back seat. But she was still with her, daughter's father pretty much. But one day she's like, it's over with. And I was like, all right. So, man, I instantly started hanging out with her, and we started trying to date, but it just went downhill fast. It was like, it wasn't the right time. So then we meet back up at, like I said, at Labor Day. And, man, after we hung out at Whitewater on Labor Day, and she invited me to the Piedmont Festival, some kind of kid festival. And, man, I started looking. I was on Travel OK, OKC Gazette. I was looking everywhere for kid stuff. I was like, hey, they got this little thing. They got this festival over here. They got this thing. I was wanting to take her and her son everywhere. Me and my daughter were going to go. I was just thinking of an excuse to be around her.
You got the secret sauce, though. You realize that if you want something, it's like rapping or anything. You got to work at it. It's not just going to happen.
Yeah.
And when you work at it, man, it just happens.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. And she was a little hesitant because I remember at one point my sister said, she goes, did you see Nicole's post? And I went and looked, and it said something about, when you meet a beautiful soul and they want to love you, just let them. Something like that, to that effect. So I think she was a little hesitant or a little scared, probably. I kind of was too, a little bit, but I knew that she was always the one that got away. It was weird. Fernando, I got buzzed up at 3020. Fernando used to own the bar on 30th and Penn, and I used to always watched out for her, always looked, made sure she was okay, and how you doing? Once every 6 months or something. She was always the one that got away. And I remember not too long before I seen her, I got a little too drunk and I cried. I was talking about her and just kind of teared up. He was dropping me off my mom's. He goes, man, take your drunk ass in the house. Like, I was like, nah, man, you don't understand, man. She's the one that got her. Man, I'm telling you, man, if I just had one more chance, this and that. And I'm like, and when I went and told him, he goes, how the hell you pull that off? I said, I don't know, man. Man, what it was is I was just friends with her again, and I didn't know if we were play dating with the kids or if we were dating all the way till we went out on my birthday. And so Labor Day what day is Labor Day fall on? September,
yes,
September something.
Because it's like the end of whatever late season.
Well, all the way from I think it's like the first week of September, maybe, right? Somewhere in the second week, I don't know. Probably have to look it up. But anyways, from that point until October 1st, I didn't know if we were dating or if we were play dating, because she even came to Comanche Nation Fair and to see me. And it was Monday, September 6th this year, I guess. So yeah, early in September, all the way to so basically almost 3 weeks, or basically about 3 weeks, we were seeing each other. And she came to Comanche Nation Fair, and I remember on the way there, I was thinking, if she comes, then we're more than just friends and old friends and hanging out with kids. And I said, if she doesn't, I'm just gonna forget about it. That's what I was thinking. And she called and told me, she was I'm really busy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. And I was like, there's my answer right there. And she showed up. So yeah. And like I said, I still didn't know until we went to eat, and it was a very romantic dinner. My brother was the chef over there. Brought us a free appetizer. Brought us dessert for free. The 21C Hotel, right, with the penguins. And we went to Sapango's, and then the Barrel.
Pink penguins or something.
Yeah.
People steal
Purple.
all the time.
Yeah, somebody stole it when he was drunk.
Yeah.
Then we went to the Barrel, and she was at the bar, and she started dancing, and I kind of felt her kind of dancing up on me a little bit, and I was like, okay. So then I knew, and I was happy, very happy, still happy. So that's how that kind of happened. We got back together, and yeah, it's crazy.
You know, a funny story, one of the stories I remember, and it was probably a year and a half ago. It was before COVID. But I was at Walmart, and we're getting my food or whatever. And then I ran into an old friend, and she was just telling me all this craziness that was going on in her life. And I'm just like, man, this is nuts. I mean, it's just like, it's a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like trying to get my food, like 15, 20 minutes goes by. And then Cliff, you come.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name. Yes.
And then you pump in. We're like pumping our carts. And then she keeps on going. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Da, 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 da. And then I'm like 5 or 10, 15 minutes. And you're like, man, I got to go. And I was like, shoot, man, go ahead, whatever. And then you went. And when you were there, it was like, we're like bumping carts, all three of us. And I think about all three of us, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the funniest shit ever. Because this guy used to just beat up everybody. And he was a rapper. And then this girl was just a fun freak and just had a lot of fun. And she was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And then, my whole whatever story that I don't think I've told all of it on here. But to see us all at Walmart getting food just to go home and nerd out, it's just...
Yeah.
The dichotomy is so funny.
She wasn't nerding out. She was probably going whatever she was doing. She
had a mess to clean up. Her life wasn't going very well. I hope it's going better.
Yeah, I hope so too. Once she went, I don't know how that whole situation ended, but once she was no longer with our other friend, it's just like he seemed to, even though she kind of painted him as the bad guy in the situation.
Takes two to tango,
he seemed
right?
to keep it together afterwards, and she kind of went,
She had a problem, I think. She got, she got in an accident, and she had I think she got hooked on pills because of the accident, a bad car wreck.
And I've always liked her,
She's
always been fun to be around.
She's great. She's so fun.
Yeah, she's always been really nice, and
But I just remember sitting at Walmart going, Cliff REDELK is here.
And I know you was like,
he got diapers and shit.
He got away quicker than me. You was probably like, man.
I was like, man, I gotta get, man.
I should have went with Cliff.
And I was there for an hour. And I'm just like, I said, man, I gotta go. Made up some whatever. My kids are calling me or something. And she kept walking, talking. I felt bad because I needed to spend that time with her, kind of talk her through whatever she's going through. Yeah. But man, after an hour, standing in Walmart, it's like,
I seen
and Cliff scoots off. I got to go too.
I seen Jimmy Manus at that same Walmart once. Me and my daughter, and we were on the clearance aisle, and he almost brought me out of retirement. If it was somebody else, I was about to say, hey, I wasn't gonna fight or anything, but I was about to say because he bumped into me and he did it on purpose. It's funny after the fact, because he was kind of like, excuse me, sir, and being real pushy with, and I turned around and I was about to say, listen, and when I turned around, he just started laughing, and I was like, true Jimmy style, you know what I mean? I was like, man, he just started laughing, that laugh he's got, and I said, man, I was about to tell you, he goes, I know. I was like, hey, listen,
he's just going to come out of retirement too.
Yeah. He was just like, excuse me, sir. He just kept, he even hit my buggy or something. I know.
I love doing that to people. When I see somebody, I'm like, oh, watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Get tagged in. See if, good times, man. Well, thanks for coming in, dude. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and we'll have to.
I feel like we bounced around a lot and this and that.
We did.
We didn't.
We did. This is my first year doing this, so.
Yeah. We can get better at it, I guess.
Yeah, have you
we
come
probably
in here?
told some things that didn't tie it up all together.
Yeah, well, for a good reason, probably.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of guys that I want to have come in, but it's going to be a couple of months. But I want to have you come back when they come in. I'm going to have a bigger table.
Yeah.
And get my other mics hooked up, and it's going to be kind of a laugh fest.
I mean, you could work it with this table.
Man.
I mean, you could be Somebody could be here. Somebody could be here, here, and there.
Yeah, and I got to get another camera too.
Yeah.
So
So what are you gonna
do it strategically.
You
but
gonna package it together eventually with the camera and the sound and all that and this and that, or are you just
it's
gonna do
already,
podcasts?
it's already right now. It's already done.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what do you? I mean, main media. I mean, how you? I mean.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
going to
know.
be on Google,
Okay.
Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, Cliff.
I thought about it.
REDELK.
I thought about it when I was coming to. I was like, man, I know we can touch on so many things, and I said, and we do. I had it in the back of my mind, like, not drop anybody in the grease.
Yeah.
Not, you can touch on things without, because there's certain things that,
Your brother's name came up in a couple of other podcasts,
yeah,
and I'm debating on what to do because I don't want to edit. I don't
Yeah.
want to get into editing because I just want them to be just like a free-flowing kind of thing.
yeah,
So I want to maybe at some point get a hold of him and say, hey, man, this person said your name. It wasn't like malicious or anything. It was just like a matter of fact, well, Lindy was here or Lindy was there. And, but I'm sure he'll probably say, I don't care or whatever.
he probably would say he don't care, especially if it's the only thing he would care is if it's somebody saying something that might get him mad. Like if they're saying something that actually happened or something. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're talking real bad. But you know what he told me once that I don't like talking about things like this, but he was buzzed up. We went to a comedy show and we afterwards we went to the Newport Hole, whatever. It used to be Mike's, and Travis was there and Alyssa, is that her name? Alicia, sorry. I should know that.
I just ran into them
yeah.
last week.
Yeah, good people. They're fun to be
Fun.
around. And so my wife took me to the comedy show. She was like, "Babe, I got us some tickets, this and that." And I was like, "That's cool." So we went over there, and then we went over there afterwards. And Lindy showed up out of the blue. I guess he seen that, said where we were at. And you know what he said after he got buzzed up? He said that at his funeral, he said he's gonna do a video, and he said he's dropping everybody in the grease, and he said he wants it to be played at his funeral. He said, "I'm telling it all." I said, I hope he doesn't do it. I hope he doesn't get the plan and do that because he said, "I'm telling everything." Which, I'll just leave it like that.
Go ahead. Don't bother me.
I think it's women that would be in trouble. That's what he was alluding to. Like, girlfriends and wives. I said, okay.
It's going to be a long video.
Yeah. He said, "I'm telling everything."
I got some stories about him, but we'll get to him later. Thanks you, Cliff, for coming in.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
Thanks for inviting me.
Word up.
Yep. Woo. If you got him.